Today we discuss about the today we are going to discuss about the AWS Serverless and the Lambda. So actually, I want uh, show you guys about the how we are gonna code in these Lambda functions. I'm just going to give you guys about the introduction about the AWS Serverless and the Lambda, because the coding is something you guys can search and learn and do it, but to do that you guys need to know about the architecture about the AWS serverless and the Lambda and use case of the AWS serverless and the what is the benefit. Those kind of things you guys need to know when you are going to use the serverless AWS serverless for your applications. So what I'm going to do is today to give some idea about this AWS, this platform, these tools, and so hope you guys will get good knowledge about it. Okay, so the topic is that introduction to AWS serverless and the Lambda. So in this topic, I will cover these three subtopics: the introduction about the serverless and the architecture of the serverless, and understand about the Lambda. So before we move on to that, okay, I will tell about myself. I'm Shanaka Nuwan, full stack engineer of Veridate Financial Limited in Hong Kong. Before we move to the serverless, we need to know about these microservices. The reason we need to know about microservices is, like, I think you guys already know about the microservice. I'm not going to give a huge explanation about that, because in the earliest session that done by the Randika about the microservices. So now you guys might know well about the microservices. So I'm not going to explain about it much. So if anyone there who has missed that, so can watch it in the YouTube. I also watched that. It is the best tutorial you guys can follow to understand about the microservices. So the microservices is the most popular architecture and same tenets of the service-oriented architecture. Still valid components are broken down into smaller single function modules, web services. So that's the shortest explanation about the microservices. If you guys want to know more about go to that previous session and get idea about it. So my part is to explain about the serverless. So what is this connection, the microservices to the serverless? It's like to build this microservices, this architecture, there are various kind of tools are providing and platforms are providing for you guys. Anyone can use those tools to build those services architecture. So like Microsoft also providing those kind of tools, and nowadays Alibaba also providing some kind of those tools to build your services according to application. So for that you guys when you are going to build that architecture of the microservices, then you guys need to know about the servers, and you guys need to think about servers. Like this question you guys need to answer when you are going to build architecture for that. You need to consent about this requirement of the servers, this all of questions. But when you guys are moved to the AWS serverless and using those AWS Lambda for your services. You don't need to do that. You don't need to think about this much because these everything's are done by the AWS. So that's why the the enterprise, the companies are moving to these AWS serverless, the AWS architecture things to use for their product. So serverless is the native architecture. Native architecture means the architecture or system that has been built especially to run in the cloud. So that's what called native architecture. So serverless is a native architecture of cloud that enable you to shift more of your shift more of your operational responsibilities to AWS, increasing your agility and innovation. So serverless allows you to build and run application and services without thinking about the servers. I mean, you guys not need to think too much about the servers. Things that what the it all everything's are handled by the AWS serverless. So it eliminates infrastructures management tasks such as server or cluster provisioning, patching, operating system maintenance, and capacity provisioning also. So those things are done by the AWS server. So no need to think about those things. So as a developer, you don't need to think about that. You can just focus on your development part of your coding. So that's why we are moving to the AWS serverless and the and you can build them for nearly any type of application for backend service and everything required to run and scale your application with high availability in handle for you. That means that AWS is handling those everything for you. These are the things that components that in the when we discuss about the AWS architect, like these are the benefit that you can have when you are using AWS servers. It's a serverless application don't require provisioning, maintenance, and administration services for backend components such as the computer, database, storage, stream processing, messaging, querying, those kind of things. And these are the component of the these are component of this serverless platform. The the services you can have, like I will give a little bit explanation about this all of, but I'm not going to explain more of this. Today we are going to talk about the compute. So compute is the that we are I was talking about the Lambda. So other services like application integration, storage, orchestration, data storage, and analytics, API proxy, those everything you can have from the AWS serverless. So I will little bit explain about this. Mm, compute. Compute, we call it the that AWS Lambda also that let you to run code without provisioning or managing servers. You can pay only for the compute time you consume. There's no charge when your code is running. I mean, it, it doesn't charge any money from you when you are not running your code. It's just only running, getting money for you like when it is executing. So that's how that AWS serverless is working. And this the when we talk about the databases of the AWS, so the storage, data storage, like you guys can use the DynamoDB. That's the faster one that retrieve any data within few milliseconds. So it will help you guys to like do real time working with your applications. And this application integration, orchestration, analytics, developing tools, these everything that under the serverless that services that provided by the serverless. So today I will going to talk about the compute. That's the we call Lambda. So for the Lambda, we can tell it like serverless event-driven compute service or microservice without servers. In the Lambda, that each functions you create can be thought of the microservices within a service-oriented architecture. So Lambda function is the code you write. In the code you write, the AWS security wrap around that code that you write and resources required to execute. So your code that you write for the Lambda can be today, then you can write Lambda function. There are several using several languages like Java and Go, Node.js, C Sharp, Python, Ruby. So those languages can be used to write your Lambda function. So any code any code doesn't need to be literally a single function, while there will be a single or method that define where execution will begin in your code, that called the handler function. So handler function, that single function, could depend on the other function native binary code library. It can make external web service can call. This is really your code keep that really that your code is uh, uh, that really your code will uh, keep in clean. So and you need to keep in mind that the code execution time of the Lambda now is limitation to the 15 minutes. So if your code is taking more than 15 minutes for the execution, so it's not going to work. So you need to keep in mind that too. So when we are going to, before we move to the next part, so I think I will explain you a little bit again, but from the beginning. So it is like the microservices architecture when you guys are going to use for application. So now you are going to use the serverless, AWS serverless, to build that architecture. So in that case, the serverless provide the several services that your application can use to build. So basically, That's were the services that you can use. These are the services. And the now we are now today I'm explaining you guys about the compute. That's the Lambda. So when we talk about the Lambda function, so I'm going to explain the Lambda function more according using four core submodules like these the four subtopic that will describe you guys about the more deep about the what is the Lambda. So these are the four topics: that Lambda function and event source, the AWS Lambda service, the function network service. So when we are going to talk about the Lambda function, this is like the kind of heart of the Lambda function. This is the where you do the coding part of your Lambda function. So you can use not only this Java, Node.js, Python. You can use C Sharp and Ruby also to code the Lambda function. So this is the place that it is assigned the roles, the IAM role that code assume during the execution, and the amount of memory allocated to your code. So this is the place that control those things of your Lambda function and your coding also. And the next one, an event source. So this is happen when this is like the where you describe like when should your function execute, and this is the where you are thinking that how your function is going to be, how you are going to develop it. I mean that like there are several resources of there are a lot of actually a lot of resources of the AWS you can have to develop your Lambda function. The event source mean that let's say about the let's let's take as an example this S3. You guys might know about the what is S3. We call it S3 bucket also. Like it is one of resources. The store any it's like store bucket is a public cloud storage resources that available in the AWS service that help you to store any kind of object in the bucket, in the S3. So that in your that Lambda function can be triggered when someone is updated any object and uploaded any object to a S3 bucket or any bucket inside of the S3. So in that point, you can trigger a Lambda function to get those identity of the user, the who upload those object and the key of the object and the metadata of the object. So every details and data of the that event you can get, and you can get by that Lambda function when you can trigger the Lambda function when S3 is when someone is any your application or anything will integrate with the S3 bucket. So that's the one option, like this SNS, DynamoDB, CloudWatch. When these things are involving with your application, then after they can trigger the Lambda function. It's the one way that Lambda function is working. And other ways like you can do the HTTP request. Like also, if you choose Amazon API gateway, if you choose the Amazon API gateway as your event source, your Lambda function receive all of HTTP request detail it needs to proceed that API request. That's the other part. I mean, one way is you can trigger your Lambda function when anything happen in your S3 bucket. That means anything happen mean that upload any object, any object, any files to your S3 bucket. You can trigger the Lambda function, or you can deal with when you are using API gate. So API gateway for your API gateway for your servers, when you are using that, and you can use the you can deal with the HTTP request, and you can proceed the API request with the Lambda function. So that's the other way you can work with, like your application directly call to the like API request and your Lambda function triggering. And the other one is the AWS Lambda service. It is AWS Lambda service. It is runs to a function code without you managing or scaling service. This is actually this AWS Lambda service. It's like everything's everything's are happening here. Every magics are going on here actually in the Lambda function. It runs your function code without you managing scaling services. Like this is the place your function is executing, and provides an API to trigger the execute for your function. It's like the letting your API or letting your API and the using resources to execute your function, and ensure function is execute when triggered is parallel regardless of scale. It's like I was talking about the ensure function is execute when triggered in parallel regardless of scale. It's like it is like the your API request. It will get thousands of requests in one time. Like a lot of if you have a lot of users for enrolling with your application, you will get a lot of API requests. So the AWS Lambda service, that's the place that ensure functions execute when triggered in parallel regardless of scale. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's handling everything for you. Like you don't need to worry about what's going to happen that when you have a lot of requests to your Lambda function. So it's handled. This the place is handled. That's why I told that this is the place that magics are going on. And this is the place and provide the additional capabilities for your function. It's like login and monitoring, that the provide the services AWS provide the services called CloudWatch. In there, you can see the what's going on in your function when you are getting request, when API calls, when API calls are called into a Lambda function. You can log any failure or any data. You can see it. That's the other best part you can have, like when you are debugging or something like that. This will be very helpful for you when that if you use the CloudWatch. So this AWS Lambda service provide that capabilities for you guys. And this is the function networking environment. The first one, there's a default networking environment where your code function has access to the internet, but no private connectivity to any other resources running inside your VPC. So The second one, the customer VPC, is the Lambda function could be provisioned inside your own customer, create virtual private cloud, and here you will choose which subnet your function will execute within. It will consume private IP space within those subnet, and the connectivity from the function will follow to the route rules. So this is the how it's working. These are the four components that I used to describe you about the Lambda function. So this is the example serverless architecture. This is a very small one. So this is kind of live. This is a live stream, uh, live video streaming application. So if you guys until now, if you guys got any confusion about the what I described about this Lambda, you can get more idea about when I'm describing this one. So take a look at this. In here, like it's storing the video in the S3 bucket. So as I said that event source, when someone upload uh, any object to the S3, you can trigger the Lambda function. Now this is happening like this. So it's uploading a video to the S3, then it cascading Lambda functions when video is uploaded in the same time. Then after it is in your Lambda function, you are converting to different kind of video sizes and qualities. So it's storing in the different places, maybe different S3 bucket. So like this function parallelly do those things and create thumbnails. Those are the function thumbnails and the QoS analytics. And these things are happening in the Lambda function. Then it's storing in the S3 after that. And as a end user, like you, someone is using mobile application to watch the live video, so he will get those video from the S3 bucket like that. So this is the service that store the video in different sizes and different qualities and store in the S3. Then after the user, he get the all of live streaming according to quality. So he like this is the function making different qualities. So you get in the different size of live stream videos. So this is the basics way to describe about the serverless, how the serverless architecture is working, and the like as I said that in here, that and the API gateway that control those API requests to your Lambda function like this. So if we talk about the API gateway, it is the configure all of the your API request and publishing, then monitor the and the security, everything are handling from here and like this. So this is the simple architecture about the how this API gateway and Lambda function are working. This is the static content get to your browser, and the when you need some dynamic content like some data, so you call to that API, you API request, you do a API request, and the Amazon API gateway that handle that request and send that, use the specific that Lambda function that according to your parameters in or your endpoint of the API. Then after it does the Lambda function involved with the any resources of the AWS and getting the data. This is example about dealing with the DynamoDB and the get what it need, get the data and process them and send back to the browser. This is the basic way that's working. And the when you go to the microservices that we were talking about earlier, that taking small modules, taking the part, breaking the parts into the small modules according to your services. So then we integrate with the AWS API gateway and the Lambda function like this. So this is the one. This is the API gateway and the Lambda function, and it dealing with the resources like DynamoDB, S3, any resources of the AWS for according to your Lambda function. So then after that, end user they get the response back. So for now, I explain you guys about the serverless and the Lambda. I know this might get more. There are a lot of things like when you come into here, like a lot of things like you guys might need to follow again. And if anyone did not understand about anything to hear, can ask any question. So like then after I will explain about this thing. I mean, my purpose was the explain you guys about the what is the serverless and the use case of that, and the how the Lambda function is working in the AWS, and how you are gonna build your application using these AWS serverless. Because when you are going to industry, so this might be a huge advantage if you guys know about the stuff of the AWS. So coding is something can learn easily. You guys already know coding. So if you know this architecture thing, how these are working, then it's very easy. It's very simple for you guys to go for the develop the Lambda functions. So if anyone wanted to know about the how we are going to use this practically, so I might be able to help you guys in another time, or you guys can contact me. So if anyone has any question until now, can ask. Otherwise, I will go to the next stage about this. Okay. I will explain this thing also. If you have any question, just ask me. Uh, these are the thing that when you're going to be like when you're becoming a developer, so the best practice is the one of major thing that make you are a good quality developer. So that means that's why I wanted to explain about this everything also before you guys working with directly with the Lambda function. Then you guys know about the what is the scenario about that using the AWS Lambda. So the best practice of that when you are talking about this is the good for your knowledge, and sometimes you guys when have the when you are going to face some issues, you can reduce that uh, problem if you know these things. So you need to think about the limit of your function, the size. When you are using Java, something like that, then you need to build JVM. So you need to think about that. And when you are writing the Node.js, your function, like your function need to be asynchronous functions. So don't assume function contain a reuse, but take advantage of it when it is does occur. I mean, like something like uploading function, something like that. You can reuse those things, those kind of, and the use the included logger and create custom metrics. These are thing that the don't forget about the size of the disk when you are going to develop a Lambda function. So better to know about this area also. And when you are dealing with the API gateway, you better to have this use mock integration. Use mock integration mean like let's say that you have a team to develop and front end and back end. So you are doing the back end part. Let's say you are doing a back end part. Then you are going to develop a Lambda function. So mock integration mean like you provide the and your front end developer is waiting for you to finish this API. So but he cannot do that because you haven't finished it. So let's say that you do the mock integration, like you provide the API for the front end developer with the mock integration, then you can keep then after you can keep developing the backend part because he already have the API and he can work with the mock integration. So then after you can work with your backend part. It's like that. So combined with the Cognito for manage and end user based access control. This is with big topic actually. If we are going to talk about the Cognito, AWS Cognito, better to go follow better to search about that more for you guys knowledge about it. And we use the stage variable API config value into Lambda function for login behavior, and the use request response mapping templates area within reason, no pass throughs. Like you better to have like one template for the request and response, so that doesn't like when you're sending a response back to your the response, and when you are sending back a response, if you have a template for that, like the structure, the one structure for the all of response, then the other side that who is receiving this response won't break anything. I mean, you always have a one structure, so you can easily handle that request and response for your Lambda function and the other end user. And when we talk about the additional best practices, mean the use strategic consumable naming conventional. So because if you have that good naming conventional and the unique and the like good structure for that, then it is very easy for you to automate this all of things. you don't need to worry about that. If you have the good naming convention for your every stage API stage names and some versioning and the Lambda function naming, those kind of things. So these are the additional best practice for you guys, for your knowledge, better to know about this thing. Okay, I think it's I think it's no need to rush about the developing. Think about developing part first. You guys better to understand about this architecture part, the how we are gonna manage your these resources and how we are gonna use your these AWS functions, Lambda functions for your APIs. So then after you guys can go for the building of your application. So like if there are any questions you guys can. Actually, I didn't want you guys to give a like big explanation about this all of thing because I know it would be a big headache for you guys because this is something again you guys need to go through this presentation if you are interested about this AWS thing. Uh, go to this presentation again and search more detail about that. You can have the all of tutorials, everything in the AWS, and they have a huge community about that. So get you can get help and support and learn yourself more and more, improve your knowledge, and go for the development. So that's what I wanted for you guys to understand that this would be a huge advantage when you are going to the industry, when that you know about the AWS. Seems no one has questions. Uh, because I was not planning to do a practical session for you guys because if I do that, like you guys will only watch and don't get to understand about that. First, need to understand about this basic thing. Then after, if anyone interested about the anything, want to learn more about that, I can help anytime. You guys can contact me. Use my email address. So if anyone interested, contact me. So then I can provide my help for you guys to understand about. And anyone has any doubt about this, and contact me through this email too. So okay, so let's finish the session.